Hi, this is Peter McLaughlin, and today I want to talk about the life between lives, and also another phenomenon of the life between lives, which is called pre-life planning. Now, the life between lives is a period of consciousness that you experience after your physical body dies in this lifetime, and before you are born into the next physical body in the next lifetime. And this life between lives is experienced by people sometimes accidentally. So for example, people who die on the operating table, their heart stops beating and they stop having brain waves. But they come back when they're revived and they talk about this period of consciousness where they met with beings of light and they went through a tunnel with a light at the end of it and they met with deceased relatives. That is the life between lives. There is a certain architecture, if you will, to the life between lives that would include things like a spirit guide. So a spirit guide, or a Christian might call that a guardian angel, is a person, a non-physical being or entity, whose responsibility it is to help you through this lifetime from this non-physical or subtle plane. They're also a representative of the life between lives, and you continue growing with them. They continue working with you, sort of like your teacher or your mentor, even when you're not in a physical body. In addition to the spirit guide, there's also a spirit council. This would be like a small group of wise elders that serves in the same capacity, and they seem to be at a slightly higher level of experience, if you will, but you can draw on them to help guide and coach you. Now, it's really interesting to me how we seem to plan each one of our lifetimes before we're born. And some of the planning that occurs would be built around a purpose or a lesson that we come here to learn or to experience as a way of growing spiritually. Now, that lesson could be something like learning courage, or learning to speak your truth, or learning compassion, or learning forgiveness. And in session, when I work with people, I find that much of the time a person is working on a lesson or purpose, but it's not just like one lifetime. It's often 3 lifetimes, 4 lifetimes. I've even run into people who have been working on the same lesson for 12 lifetimes. And what's fascinating to me is those people tend to be, probably self-described, very stubborn people. Now, you may be choosing your parents. I would say about 80% of the time with my clients, the answer we get is that they chose their parents to be their parents before they were born into this lifetime. And that gets really interesting if a client has a parent who is abusive or somehow really difficult to be with. And it gets interesting because you ask yourself the question, why would a person choose such a horrible parent to be born into that family? When you work with the spirit guide, when you work with the spirit council, when you understand what that client's lesson is for this lifetime, it immediately becomes clear how this very difficult, very trying circumstance is actually pushing them in the direction of learning this important spiritual lesson that they may have been working on for 3 lifetimes or 5 lifetimes or even 12 lifetimes. Now, in that realm, as part of the choices, we may also be choosing things like physical hardship that could come as a result of an accident. It could be something like even a birth defect. And again, what I have found in my work is that those challenges are often part of a much greater lesson. Or get this, sometimes that soul is actually sacrificing for somebody else's lesson. And one of the most moving experiences I ever had was when a client who had an abusive parent learned in this realm from her spirit guide, from her spirit council, from these loving beings, that her father had reluctantly taken on this role of antagonist in order to help her reach the next level. And as she was sitting there with tears streaming down her face when she understood this, the hair stood up on the back of my neck. It was so powerful and so moving. And I'm not saying that in every case that's what's happening, and I'm certainly not justifying people who are abusive or otherwise not doing the right thing. Because from a human perspective, I don't think we can tolerate that. But for this client, it helped her find peace in this relationship with her father, who was now deceased. And I think it helped heal a fracture in our mind and put to rest an old demon. And for me, it was a huge eye-opener in how the things in our lifetime that sometimes we get the most upset about, we feel like victims, we push against it. Sometimes, often maybe, those things are present, those people are present, those challenges are present to actually help lift us up and move us out of a place where we've been stuck into a higher spiritual place. So I know that this is a huge topic. All of the topics I talk about are huge. And if I haven't answered a question that you have, please feel free to put it in the comments section. And I am right now making a video of a spiritual regression that will allow you to go to the life between lives, meet with your spirit guide, meet with the spirit council, perhaps even understand some of the really important relationships in your life, like your parents, perhaps like your life partner or your siblings or a really good friend, maybe even some challenges that you've had. Help you understand what your lesson is for this lifetime. What did you come here to learn? What did you come here to experience? And what are aspects of your present life where you were on that path, where you were going in the direction of your goal or your lesson? And what's the contrasting scene where you're moving farther away from it? So look for that on my channel about life between lives and pre-life planning. And again, put down those questions if you have any, and we'll see you in the next video. And remember to like, subscribe, share it with your friends.